and welcome to the Enchantress Society with Tia Johnson, a place where you get to be you, where you get to unlock your magic in a sacred and judgment-free zone. The Enchantress Society is your witchy sisterhood of enchanting women who guides and supports you along your spiritual journey from the mundane to the magical. I invite you to sit for a spell as I interview guests and spill the spiritual tea on how we can create the magical life we deserve. Hello, 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 and welcome to the last episode of this year. We have arrived. We are here. This is it. Dare I say we are mere hours away from the year 2022. I hope that you gave yourself a pat on the back sometime within the last couple of weeks, because these last couple of years have been trying on multiple levels. And so I wish for you, going into the year 22, that the abundance, the health, the love, the wealth, the boundaries, the self-care, all that expands for you, grows, flourishes, thrives. May that be all the themes for your year, just maximizing that. Maximizing the experiences, the beautiful experiences that are just waiting for you. So may 2022 be even better. Just continue to be better and better and better and expanding and growing. And, speaking of expanding and growing, I want to give you my personal thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I'm bringing this up because, I talked about it briefly earlier in the fall, but I wanted to have a special time carved out to really say thank you and talk about it. And that is, the podcast is one of the top 5% most popular shows out of 2,741,430 podcasts globally, according to website Listen Score. Top 5% out of 2.7 million. That's a result of your commitment of showing up, sharing the episodes or the podcast as a whole, talking about it, implementing some of these strategies in your life because you're coming back. And I am so appreciative of that. And I'm just thinking back about the very beginning with this podcast, especially those who had been with me for a while. You've seen the multiple name changes. I had to pause the podcast a couple of times due to surgeries. So it hasn't been an easy road. But here we are. It's really a testament of just keep swimming in a way, just tweak, keep going. You got to take a break. Okay, regroup, but keep going. This podcast is heard in over 50 countries. That's crazy. You are giving me something so precious, and it can't be replaced, and that's your time. Tuning in, listening to my silly stories, and then also getting, spiritual education, witchy lifestyle, all that. Just thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for also being committed to yourself to show up, to giving yourself the space and the grace to just tune in and see what happens. I just can't express the level of gratitude beyond stating I truly appreciate it. Thank you for being part of this team, and let's continue to grow. All right. So with that being said, I forget to mention this. The podcast has an Instagram page. So if there's something that you wanted to discuss further, a question you had, you can go to enchantress_society_podcast. And you'll see the post for, whatever the current episode is, and you can leave your comment there. Okay. So we can continue to connect. And last but not least, the survey link is in the description for this episode. All right. So please, it's just, I think 4 questions, and please make time to check that out so that way I can continue to give you content that you want to tune into. All right, so let's talk about this top 10 list here. So I'm also going to do an honorable mentions of the series. So what I did was I looked up the top 3 popular series, and we have them right here. So let's get into it. So we're going to start off with the honorable mentions. Coming in, and I'm just going to do 1, 2, 3. But with the individual episodes, we're going to start off with number 10. So starting off with the top popular series we have here, the Cosmic series. So you were really into it. Okay, and the Cosmic series starts from episode 330 to 334. And those episodes are Sun, Moon, and Rising Sign, Why It Matters with Lucia Rebello, Cosmic Deities, What Does It Mean When a Planet Goes Retrograde with Ali the Astro Witch, and What is Cosmic Magic and Why You Need to Know It. I had a lot of fun recording these episodes. Learning about the Sun, Moon, and Rising Sign with Lucia was so insightful, and it really helped me to understand how each one of those traits associated with, or I shouldn't say traits, but actually my zodiac, how that shows up in my life. So my Virgo sun, my Pisces moon, my Gemini rising, how does that show up in my life? What does that mean, etc. So that was a really cool episode to dive into to help me understand myself better. And the cosmic deities, we have to communicate with the goddesses. And one of my also Lucia is a astrologer. Meant to mention that. And then Ali, she's one of my favorite witches. So that was such an educational episode. One of the cool things I love that Ali talked about was how all the planets go into retrograde, and some people can actually thrive during a Mercury retrograde. So basically, Ali debunked a lot of things about Mercury retrograde and created some insight about people who have retrogrades in their chart and what that means. And I just adore Ali. She read my transit chart. She's just amazing. So definitely reach out to Ali to get your So notice I said transit, right? Because she talks about the birth chart, but also the transit chart. And that's the first time I heard of it. So I'm not even going to butcher the meaning of that. Ali can explain it better. All right. And then there was just me talking about what cosmic magic is and why you need to know it. All right. So coming in at number 2, we have the Witchy Lifestyle series. I loved this series because this was a breakthrough in many ways. So let's get into it. This series starts from episode 336 to 339. And they are Spiritual Bypassing with the Glamour Rich Alexis Jackson, What It Means to Live Life as a Witch, Answering the Call, Deli Practices with Sam the Cosmic Witch, Screw Being Ladylike, I'd Rather Be a Bad Witch. So, Miss Alexis Jackson, she is a singer. I have her album. Check it out, Elixir and Smoke. And she has her amazing products, her candles. She just like restocks some of them. She gives amazing readings. What else can I say? So that episode, interestingly enough, is 2 hours long, and seemed like it didn't matter. And it's so funny because when the conversation is good, time flies. And I just remember looking and thinking, wow, how did we get to 2 hours so fast? Even though I always keep track of the time, it's just interesting how it feels like 45 minutes sometimes. And you look and it's like, wow, we got into a few things. So spiritual bypassing is something that, unfortunately, in some communities, is just so normal. It gets passed off as, what's the word I'm looking for? As a form of being nurtured, as, oh, we shouldn't look at the things that are low vibrational. And it's unfortunate because it sounds like that would be the right thing to do. And that makes sense. If you see something that is like a crime, maybe you saw it on TV or on the news, and someone would say, oh, that's low vibrational. And like, yeah, the crime is a very low, horrible act, but acknowledging that a crime happened and want to stop crime and be part of, a watch group, or just, bringing crime to the forefront. Maybe it was a domestic violence, and it's like, hey, we need to protect our women. And unfortunately, some people look at uh, being for social justice and fighting against injustice as low vibrational. That's not true. And it's just a deflection. So we get into spotting that in people who are trying to pass themselves off as vibing so high, among other things. Because again, some of them just seem like that would be right until you zoom out and think, wait a minute, that's not true. So also, it's fun talking with Alexis. So the banter is amazing. Like I said, we get into a lot of things, and what can I say? The spiritual bypassing is just, it's becoming so much of an issue that, again, it's okay. Here's how I can best explain that. As the saying goes, when someone tells a lie often enough, it becomes the truth in a way. So it's like that. All right, and I'll leave it at that before I go down that rabbit hole. Answering the call, that episode was really about understanding the building blocks that I underwent until I really answered the call, because the nagging was there a little bit, and not the bad nagging, just the psst, hey, T, hey, it's those feelings you get, what you're drawn to, the movies you want to watch. It's like there's a theme going on here. So finally stepping into that and really embodying that, it began with truly answering the call, not just looking at the caller ID. All right, next, Sam the Cosmic Witch. She's another one of my favorite witches. What I love about the episode with Sam is that she really breaks down the daily rituals into practical applications. And the thing is, with being a witch or just a spiritual person in general, sometimes people think the practical side is too logical, it's too, not spiritual, but that's not true. Again, there are practical things that we need in our life. There are some daily practices that we should be doing each and every day for our spiritual hygiene, among other things. So it was really cool to have Sam come on and talk about that. And she spoke at the Unlock Your Summit, a virtual event I had during the summer that seems like it was only a few months ago, as opposed to now, basically 8 months now, something like that. Right. So it's crazy. Time's flying. But anyway, yeah, she spoke at the Unlock Your Magic Summit. And again, great topics, great conversation. Check her out. She just released a new book, so you can get that for pre-order. And yeah, so go check her out. And then the last one there is Screw Being Ladylike, I'd Rather Be a Bad Witch. And basically what I explained during that episode in a nutshell is that people are going to want to put that ladylike label on you. That's not ladylike. Oh, well, ladies, it's like, whoa, wait. Who said I was trying to be ladylike anyway? And why do you get to be the person to assign that definition to it and impose that on me? Yeah, no. So check that out. And then the last honorable mention here, the Dark Goddesses series. We have here starting from episode 323 to 327. And it is Lilith, Inanna, Morgan, Freya, and Hecate. My patron goddess, Hecate. I really enjoyed connecting with these goddesses. And this series is all about diving into the depths of you and understanding the multiple outcomes that come with that. For example, Lilith stood her ground, became demonized. Is that not what happens to us when we speak up, take up space, or if we're too sexy? Someone deemed us too sexy, so we should change what we're wearing. It's too much. But still, we get demonized sometimes. And Lilith was basically like, okay, I'll be that villain. I'm going to show you a villain. All right. So each goddess has their own thing. And dark doesn't mean bad. Okay. I remember being a kid and I remember telling my mom, I used to watch Westerners, old black and white, sometimes it was in color. And I remember thinking, not all bad guys wear black and not all good guys wear white. It's like the bad guy is always wearing black and he always has a sinister laugh. And the good guy is always wearing white and his voice always sounds wholesome, right? But that's not the case in real life. There are people who look clean cut, nice, and seem like they're good. And they're some of the worst people ever. And then you see someone who society has told us, is the bad guy. Maybe he has one too many tattoos, right? It's like, oh, that guy looks sketchy. But meanwhile, he's the nicest guy on the planet. But society says tattoos or too many tattoos. So, yeah. So that's understanding about diving into that side that just needs to come into the light, the understanding that there is good and bad, that especially us as women just embodying that feminine energy, we're like hurricanes. We're not just want to sit pretty and no, some of us, we get down and roll our sleeves up and we're in tune with our sexuality and sensuality. We're not taking any shit, things like that. So we're multi faceted. And that's what this is about. This being able to tap into your raw energy and owning it. All right. So we're going to push that to the side. That's the top three series of the year that you love: the Cosmic series, the Witchy Lifestyle series, and the Dark Goddess series. All right. Now, here we go. Top 10. Drum roll. One day, my goal is to have a studio and I'll have all the sound effects I want. All right. So, number 10. We have here Witchy Lifestyle series with Sam the Cosmic Witch. Look at my girl Sam making another appearance. Two appearances, two different lists, two appearances. All right. And so I talked about that episode. So again, check out Sam. She's on Instagram. Her information is, and the information for all the guests is in the description of each episode. So that is Sam the Cosmic Witch in the Witchy Lifestyle series, talking about daily practices, coming in at number 10, and that is episode 337. All right, but coming in at number 9, episode 309, and that is the Spring Goddess episode. So that was cool. So I was talking about the season of spring goddesses. And what I love about that episode is that understanding the cycles, not just in our life, but as a whole, the cycles of the earth, the seasons, this everything, the earth goes, well, time, yes, is a social construct and all that. But for this example, the earth spins on its axis for the 24th hour. Then it's like, okay, we're starting all over again. So that's its cycle. Then we have our seasonal cycles: winter, spring, summer, fall. We have all these different endings and beginnings. And to understand the season of spring and connecting with the goddesses of spring help us, I was going to say, spring into our next chapter. That sounds so cheesy and cliche. Is spring into your next chapter during spring. But you get what I'm saying. It's about looking at things again with that fresh perspective, that maiden perspective. The world is your oyster. How can you start anew? Right. So that was a cool episode to talk about the spring and the goddesses. All right. Number 8, we have a tie. And it's funny because 8 is my life path number. So this is special here. All right. Coming in 2 episodes for the 8th place: episode 297, Magical Days of the Week, and 336, the Witchy Lifestyle series, What It Means to Live Life as a Witch, Answering the Call. With the Magical Days of the Week, since I already talked about the Witchy Lifestyle series, with the Magical Days of the Week, what I love about that is once I understood the magic for the days of the week, my life got even better. I mean, far as scheduling meetings, far as easing into the week, understanding why I feel this way on this day and this way on another day, understanding what days to do things to maximize that energy to give me an extra boost. One of the ways I can explain it is, it doesn't make sense if you were a gamer back in the day, or if you are a gamer, if you play Yu-Gi-Oh cards, whatever. Remember when we had our boosters, or remember when we had the card to change the playing field from mountain to water, and all the say if it's like actually a better example, because I had wow. So now I'm thinking with my Yu-Gi-Oh cards, I had a lot of the earth like theme cards, and I made that one dark elf. And I'm thinking back on that now. Look at where I'm at now, talking about dark goddesses, dark fae, dark. This is crazy. Wow. Even then, Look at that. Anyway, let me stop because I'm getting sidetracked. I remember once I changed the field to, what was it, like the prairie field, like my dark panther cat, whatever I had, that got powered up. I think it was like the dark elf or something, like they all got powered up. And that's basically what I'm saying here is the days of the week are like power ups. It's like you get in that special bow and arrow set, in the game. It's like the power up. It's like the fancier one. They give you like the +5 points, and the other one gives you the +3 points. So working with the days of the week helped you understand the energy of that day and the activities that you could be planning on that day to give you the extra oomph for things to be more in your favor, so things work for you. Now, I'm going to segue a little bit because in the Cosmic Goddess Mastermind, we dived into just that. Just like, well, not just that, but we dive into that among other things. We talk about the sun, moon, sun, moon, and rising signs. I was going to say sun, moon, and rising goddess. I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, what that means for you, how that shows up in your life. And we go into the magic of the days in the week. So there's still time to enroll. We begin January 31st. The link to learn more and enroll is in the description of this episode. All right, number 7. Coming in here is Miss Lucia. See, so here we go, back to back. Sun, moon, and rising. Again, so powerful. What else? What more can I say? Right? And check out Lucia. Number 6. Oh, and that was episode 334. Number 6, episode 316, how to work with goddesses and other divine beings. Now, what I love about this, I know I always say something that I love, but it's true. I can say things that like, I love this about that and that about that. I have a note here that states less than a month into my new place. So this makes sense because this, looking back, was during a transitional period before I started diving into working with the dark goddesses, before I was stepping more outside my comfort zone. Like when I hosted the Sex Goddess Summit, that was me really stepping out of my comfort zone. And that's still available. It's free. So you don't have to worry about that. I got you covered. All right. And you can go to my website to get access to that and the Unlock Your Magic Summit. All right. So that's just at tiamariejohnson.com. So yeah, I was on the brink of starting to work with other divine beings. And it's so interesting because it's just like, little did I know. Right. And I had time to do a lot of reflection. Moving was exciting as hell. I just love it. I have more creative space, more peace, just more of me. It's just more space for me to be me, to do me, just me. So that's irreplaceable. All right. Coming in at number 5, another one of my favorite people, Flora Ware. Episode 313, The Witch Wound, with Temple Priestess Flora Ware. That episode was near and dear to my heart because I'm going to talk a little bit about past lives. There are some things from our past lives that, of course, carry over, like fears. And when I talk to especially women, and especially women who have had past life regression, they talk about their throat and, why they have throat issues or why they don't like turtlenecks, things like that. It's because in their past life, they were outspoken about women's rights, or they were a witch, or whatever the case may be. It could have even been a midwife, right? And they were killed, hung. And then there are other wounds that once we are answering the call of being a witch, that we just got to be prepared for certain things. All right. Because for most of us, this is not our first life. So we got to be prepared for certain things. So how do we go about that so we can live our full truth, our full life during this lifetime? And that includes healing the witch wound, because I didn't want to call myself a witch a little while ago when I was really starting to feel that initial calling. I was just thinking, oh, I don't know. It's like taboo. I don't know. But now I'm like, yeah, let's bring all the taboo. Well, not all the taboos, but you know what I mean. The ones that really aren't taboos, but society is trying to oppress people, and by saying that what they're doing is a taboo, or calling it a taboo. So we had to heal, and she dives into that. And also, she has a very calming presence about her. I love it. All right, coming in at number 4, episode 339, Witchy Lifestyle Series with Alexis Jackson. Again, what more can I say about her? She's a healer, a singer. Her business is The Glamour Witch, so check her out. And again, great conversation. Coming in at number 3. Oh my gosh, we're at top 3. We're at the top 3. Almost done. Almost done. All right. Coming in at number 3. Episode 313. You're ready for change now. What? And I'm looking at my notes here. And this was right before I moved. Right before. So we have an episode after I moved, and then right before, like right after and right before. And I have here in my notes 10 tips for accepting and embracing the changes we have been desiring in our lives. So it seems like that was the description for that episode. Imagine that. Imagine that. To go in that deeply about change. So yeah, when it comes to being ready, there are some people who are ready, but they still don't take the jump. It's like they feel it, but it's like, eh. And sometimes we just need that little push. Everyone needs that push every now and then, right? So I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying this is what happens sometimes. We're like at that point, we know we need to jump. We're ready to jump, but sometimes we're just not quite there. And so we need that support system, that connection with our higher self, just listening, believing in ourselves, betting on ourselves, knowing that we can do it. We just had to be resourceful. Take that leap, right? Yes, there's a lot of unknown, but what we do know, if we don't do anything, we know for sure what that ending is going to be. Unhappiness, not being fulfilled, being freaking 70, 80, 90 years old, wondering what would happen if you took that chance, watching life go by. This really happens. And I wouldn't feel as dedicated to talk about this if that was theory. If it was, well, if you don't take the chance on yourself when you know that you're ready for the change, if you don't do that, then, it's okay. You don't have to. Now, is that true? Would that be okay? You don't have to. Yes, because that's your life. It won't impact me. Or maybe some way, if you are someone who has a very amazing talent that can benefit people on a larger scale, then yeah, but that's your decision, right? You had to live with that. So in one sense, I guess, yeah, it could be okay. I mean, I can't make you do anything, but is it going to be okay for you? Will you be able to live with that? No action is still a response and answered. That you decide the no action being taken is an action in its own form. So this is a timely episode to be coming in at number 3 because we're doing this countdown. We're entering the new year, a new us. What does that look like? Well, we have our end vision of what we would like, but from here to there, we don't know. And that's scary. But we have to take that chance or turn around and stay in what I call those neighborhoods you don't want to be in. Shouldville, couldville, woodville. Yeah, those aren't fun. But embrace the change, take a chance. And when you look back, it's unbelievable. The strength, the grit, the determination, the grace that you had to give yourself to get to. Yeah, absolutely. All right, number two. Episode 320, The Brightest Witch of the Enchantress Coven. I cannot believe that this came in as number 2. I am shocked, but here we are. Man, I don't know what I would think come in at number 2. I just didn't think it would be The Brightest Witch to come in number 2. So with the Enchantress Coven, if you are new to this podcast, that was the monthly membership that I had over the summertime. But it ended up being a lot for me to curate the bonus material and things like that. And I wanted to expand that more. So that is going to be rebranded. And that's going to be something that will be coming out in 2022. So you already got a sneak peek about what's going down in 2022. So the Enchantress Coven will be coming back. But again, my team and I, we looked at what worked, what didn't work. We're tweaking a few things, rinse and repeat. Number one. Dun, 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 dun. All right. Number 1, episode 340 with my lovely business coach. Get your shift together with the Slay coach, Jamie King. A lot of y'all wanted to get y'all shift together. Y'all wanted to get it together over the summer. As this episode was published on July the 23rd. Investing in Jamie is one of the best friggin' things I have done in my life. One of the, that's up there. One of the best things I've ever done. I purchased Slay School, or not enrolled. I enrolled in Slay School in November last year, and Slay School began in January. And the rest is really history. And Jamie really helped to open me up more to, that push that we need to get out of our comfort zone. She's just real, raw, authentic. Like, her family is just lovely. I don't know what else I can say to really put this in words. Like, it just, you need to invest. Like, you have to take these chances. And does it always pan out the way you want it to? No. Like, I've hired a virtual assistant before and it didn't work out. Wasn't that it was a bad falling out? It just didn't work out. I hired, before I hired a marketing team, I hired a PR woman. It didn't really work out. So yeah, there's some investments that don't work out, right? Or there's some investments that there's no longevity for whatever reason. And so that's okay. At the time, it's just like, oh my gosh, like, I put this money into something and I'm not seeing the result that I want to see. and, XYZ, all that. So, of course, that happens. But another thing that happens is with each chance, with each calculated risk, with each putting one foot in front of the other, taking that step, building block upon building block, you get a little bit more craftier. You learn the questions to ask. Your eyes get a little sharper. You know what to look for. And I talked about this in other episodes where, and I don't want this to come off as me like beating up on influencers and coaches that are online, but when you focus on personal growth and when you start just doing it and learning, tweaking, learning, tweaking, learning, you can spot out people who aren't genuine online so much easier. I've seen this time and time and time again where I look at someone who's supposedly, crushing the game, 100K followers, all this other stuff. But again, I tell people, zoom out. Zoom out. Like, really look at the pictures. Like, when you look at them, sometimes you can tell that person's not happy. That relationship is on the rocks. But I tell you one thing, when I went to Jamie's Instagram page, I said, she's my people. I had no question. It's that authenticity that can't be duplicated and it can't be faked. What happens is we just don't know what to look for. And there lies the issue. And yes, there are some people who put on really good facades, but for the most part, we don't know what to look for. And the way I discovered Jamie, and I talked about this, I believe, in that episode, was Sam the Cosmic Witch. This is why your circle matters. Sam the Cosmic Witch on Instagram posted that she was dyeing her hair like her business coach. And I'm thinking, well, who's this business coach? Because Sam had dyed her hair half pink, half purple. Well, I'm like, I love the colors. Who is this coach? Went to her page. Oh, yeah, I see the half pink, half purple. Oh, she says, fuck. She has tattoos. She's my people. Now, notice I didn't say anything about her coaching yet. It's a vibe first. The vibe was on point, and that's why I love Jamie. And Jamie loves her slave family. That's who we are now, the slave family. I finished her fast track program. I said slave, yeah, the slave school is the fast track program. And I finished it. When did it end? I forget. It ended, it was January, I think like March-ish time frame. And then she had her conference in August. And I almost didn't go. But I went. Friggin' game changer. Game changer. I met another woman at the conference, Evelyn, who was on this show, and she talked about healing childhood wounds and generational trauma. When I tell you, I was healed right away, and I talked about that with Evelyn. So scroll back and check out the episode. I had a wonderful childhood, but what happened was I abandoned my childhood energy in a way. So when Evelyn led us through that meditation, I learned that I needed to play more. I wasn't playing as much. The childhood Tia said, remember when you thought you can do it all and you did because you played more? I was like, oh my gosh, I wasn't entertaining me. So I can see why Jamie came in at number one. It's a vibe. She's amazing. I have seen so much growth in my business this year. And I can't wait to dive more into that in another episode, another time. But she has helped me in many areas. So check out this episode, listen to how you can shift your life. And that was part of her challenge over the summer. So that's long gone ended, but you can get a lot of the goodies, the tidbits from that episode. So check out that episode, connect with Jamie. She's online. Slay School is coming up again. Actually, I don't know if the doors are open yet. I don't know. But anyway, check it out. Check out all these lovely guests. Everyone is so amazing. Everyone has their, excuse me, their own beautiful light to them. And yeah, what a year. What a year. So top 10. Number 10, Daily Practices with Sam the Cosmic Witch from the Witchy Lifestyle series. Number 9, The Spring Goddesses. Number 8, Tide, Magical Days of the Week and Witchy Lifestyle series, Answering the Call, What It Means to Live Life as a Witch. Number 7, Cosmic Series, Sun, Moon, and Rising Sign and Why It Matters with Lucia Robello. Number 6, How to Work with the Goddesses and Other Divine Beings. Number 5, The Witch Wound with Temple Priestess Flora Ware. Number 4, Witchy Lifestyle series, Spiritual Bypassing with the Glamour Witch, Alexis Jackson. Number 3, You're Ready for Change, Now What? Number 2, Brightest Witch of the Enchantress Coven. And number 1, Get Your Shift Together with the Slay Coach, Jamie King. And what I forgot to mention is, with number 2, the Brightest Witch. So what I did was, there's 4 levels in the Enchantress Coven. It's when you're just starting out, when you're a little bit more familiar, when you're the queen, and then when you're the HBIC. So the Coven was that membership where there was training for each level. There was a monthly reading, workbook, ritual spells, things to help you along your path. So even if you are starting off as a new witch, you still had access to the libraries of the Witch Queen, if that makes sense. So, because the Witch Queen was a little bit more advanced, but you can still, go to that section inside the Enchantress Coven and get that information, just like if you were the Witch Queen and maybe you forgot what the meaning of a color or a crystal is, you can go to maybe the Brightest Witch or the New Witch library and pull up something and make a reference there. But like I said, no worries. It's being rebranded for next year, so keep an eye out for that. And that's wrapping up this episode. Again, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for connecting with me. Thank you for sharing, telling people about this. You rock. I'm wishing you a very happy new year, a very happy 2022, and I will see you. I'm making a cheesy joke next year. I used to hate when people say that. I'm like, oh my God, that is so cheesy. But here I am now doing it. Anyway, I'm sending you all the blessings, lots of love. You know I'm rooting for you. Be kind to yourself until 2022. Thank you so much for tuning in, Magical One. Let's keep in touch. Join the VIP email list by going to tiamariejohnson.com. And as always, I'm sending you lots of love, many blessings. I'm rooting for you. And remember to be kind to yourself. Until next time.